All right, I'm gonna count in 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? So this is gonna be my second podcast, and this time I have my friend Clinton, and today we're just gonna be talking, chatting it up, basically about whatever the hell we want. No incentive as far as what we're gonna talk about. Everything's improvised. If you guys, whoever's listening, thank you. Whoever's not listening, doesn't matter. So to start off, I actually just want to basically give Clinton the opportunity just to give us a short bio as far as like what you do, and then of course just something that people could actually get to know you in the beginning before we actually start talking. Yeah.
Well, basically, I'm a photographer. My name is Clinton Ermey. I mainly do real estate. I used to do a lot of weddings, but now it's just real estate. I'm trying to put weddings on the back burner for a little bit until it, get my spark of magic back. And been shooting, like 11 years professionally as full-time job. I just quit my job to be a photographer. I think that's probably what considers a professional photographer because it's all up in the air.
Yeah, it's all
right.
There's no real actual diploma as far as like whenever you become anytime a professional this or professional that. It's all like whatever. So we basically met 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
I remember seeing your photos on Facebook. I think that's kind of where I got to know who you were as far as like as a photographer. I think if it was not for the group, the photography group online, it was randomly that I just stumbled upon your photography, and like I think I started following you, and then of course we met up through the photography group, and that's kind of where we kind of like started building an actual friendship,
right
through that one.
Well, we met at Bravery, and ended up having a few drinks and basically talking all night. Everybody else in the group, they kind of they had to go to their homes, and
that was a good introduction as far as like getting to know you for the first time. It was fun though. It was fun. I honestly feel like that for me was who you really were, as far as like, because you were pretty honest the first time that I actually met you.
Right.
Because for that meeting, I think you were doing a class or something. You're showing your workflow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a presentation. I brought in the projector and had my little notes down that I was gonna, my speaking notes, and it ended up being super short, and nobody could really do it. So basically, I gave you a solo,
which I definitely
presentation.
Definitely appreciated it. Just at the time that I met you, I had just started doing flash photography, and I would see your work online, and the biggest problem that I had was the ceremonies, as far as like the receptions. Just because they were really dark, and I was starting to do on-camera flash, and I would look at your stuff, and you were doing off-camera flash. I did have the equipment at the time to do off-camera flash, but I didn't feel comfortable enough to actually set it up and then spend the time on that and then basically do what I needed to do. I was just more comfortable just doing on-camera flash and just getting it done that way. And then when I was watching your stuff, it was like for me, it was like really, really good at the time, like where I was like, this is kind of where I need to bring up my photography as far as for my clients. And then when I saw that you were going to give the class as far as like what you were doing, I was really interested. And as far as like the people that weren't listening or the people that didn't show up, I honestly feel like they missed out on a lot of information that you honestly like gave out that day.
Well, I was going to reveal it all.
Which you kind of did.
And I was like, oh, man, should I be doing this? And then it worked out, and maybe I didn't have to reveal it all. You hear a lot of photographers, they're like, oh, reveal it all, because it'll help everybody grow. But there's some few very little things that I do keep secret. But I'll share it with you.
Honestly,
it's all
I'm
good.
I'm pretty sure I could figure it out.
You're a cool guy. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because I remember after the class, I would say that you gave out the lecture from your PowerPoint. We stayed a lot longer as far as like when everybody else left.
We stayed until they kicked us out.
Basically. So for me, it was just the idea like, oh, there's someone that actually could look up to as far as like the skill level. And you're basically giving me everything as far as like gear and what strobes you were using,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I was basically just eating it up. And I actually remember asking you to critique my stuff.
Yeah,
for that,
I remember that part of the
just
night.
because I knew I was already starting to get off the off-camera flash, but
Yeah.
I wanted to really get comfortable using off-camera strobes.
And your
that's
stuff was good too. I remember it was real good, you know, especially for just getting into it.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where like our friendship group, just because I felt like you were pretty honest as far as like as a critique, but then again later on you then brought up the whole idea that maybe you had a little bit too much to drink.
Yeah.
And that way you're like a little bit too honest. But honestly, I liked the honesty as far as like, that's what I kind of like, that's what I was looking for as far as like anybody that I was asking to critique my stuff.
Right.
I didn't want them to say this
Sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I didn't want them to tell me that it was a good photo or whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted
That's destructive to
I
anybody
wanted
that's
to
trying to
hear
learn.
all the negatives, like as far as
Yeah.
like how to improve if you're going to do the same shot again,
Right.
or what could have improved if you would have done this and this and that.
Right, right.
So I feel like that honesty that you gave out that day,
Yeah.
and it was either
And remember, it was just suggestions.
yeah, exactly.
It
But
wasn't,
for
you know,
me, it was
there's
just
the fundamentals.
yeah,
And that's basically what I was giving you. And then when you critique somebody, you basically, you could look at the fundamentals, because because it is art and there is no right and wrong.
yeah.
But I truly believe there is fundamentals,
Oh, definitely.
and you need to, you know, you could follow those fundamentals and then establish yourself and then experiment. You know, so basically I was just telling you what I saw
Yeah.
fundamentally wrong,
Yeah.
which really wasn't all that much.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah. Well, for me, it was just more of experimenting. At the time, I was just doing a lot of free and fun shoots, either with my friends or
Right.
whoever wanted to their picture taken.
Yeah.
So, as far as like the aspect of me wanting to get it right, I wanted to get it right. But when it came down to paid clients, that's where I felt uncomfortable, delivering certain things. Because for me, it was almost like, did I get this shot because I got lucky?
Yeah.
Or did I actually know what I was doing? And that's where you came in and kind of gave me those notes as far as like what I was doing wrong and what I could have improved. And then that kind of gave me at least bullet points in my brain.
Yeah.
As far as like what then I could then start thinking about first. Just because everything was just put together, like, I'm just going to set it up and see how it looks and then like trial and error.
Right.
But it's always good to just have somebody say like, that's why this worked and that's why this didn't work. And this is why this could work eventually if you just kind of adjust on certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you were real, receptive when it came to that, which probably made me even tell you more, because I could really dig on somebody that's, that's enjoying the talk or actually absorbing it instead of trying to flip it around. Oh, well, this is the reason I did this.
Yeah.
This is the reason I did that. You kind of just absorbed all the information, which was just awesome. And that's probably, why you're where you're at today.
Yeah.
Is because you didn't take anything to offense or, it was, well, you liked learning.
Yeah, I think the process of learning is what I kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
Even till now, like I enjoy the process of like getting to know certain things of equipment that I didn't know before, and I'm like, why? I wish I could go back and then basically tell myself, hey, instead of doing this, it'll make your life a lot easier. Right. Either on setup time or if not in post.
In post, yeah.
So those are the things that I really enjoy, and when I actually get to learn that stuff and it clicks in my brain for some reason, it's just like a stimulant like that I'm always reaching out to as far as like my creativity, because I know I enjoy it, but I also enjoy the learning process, and that's something that I kind of like, I'm always searching for. And then of course, like I said, it's always good to know somebody that's basically better than you on certain things in the areas that you're really wanting to get into. And I remember when I first met you, I barely had like maybe 2 years or maybe 2 years and a half of shooting photography and videography. Yeah. So I was pretty green. Like I honestly could say like I was going off of YouTube, like most of the creators out there now. Yeah. But I really wanted to learn the basics as far as the foundation, as far as like for the lighting, how to use certain modifiers, because that's something that I didn't really understand at that time yet. Yeah. I was doing basic umbrella lighting, and they're pretty cheap, so they're really good.
They're extremely
good to go.
cheap.
Yeah, like beginner stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as like other stuff like octoboxes and beauty dishes,
Right.
those are the stuff that I kind of wanted to like approach and see what they did and what's the differences like between those actual modifiers that photographers could use, or if I could use it, and why I would want to use it for certain situations.
Right. Why you would want to pay $150 for a softbox versus a $20 umbrella.
Yeah, exactly.
Which really is kind of minuscule, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But I do see the benefits as far as like using the umbrella, but I do see the non-benefits as far as like if you're shooting outside, an umbrella is something that you don't want to use. If you're shooting inside and you have more control as far as like
if there's wind, you know.
Yeah.
The reason I don't like umbrellas, well, I love umbrellas. You know, most of it, you know, 9 times out of 10, I'll grab an umbrella if I have to run and gun.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, catch lights. The catch lights look like crap, and you got to fix that in post because you could usually see the tent poles out of an umbrella.
Are you using the see-through umbrellas or the...
You mean shoot-through?
Yeah, shoot-through, my bad.
Yeah, but either or, you know, you'll still see that. You know. It depends on how close the photo is.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to terms of like softness of light.
Yeah, and then also controlling the light, knowing where it's going to bounce.
Control, yeah. See, that's where, you want the octobox, so you could aim it, and then you could put a grid on it if you'd like. But, you know, as for quality of light, there's certainly nothing wrong with an umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely. Well, those are the stuff that I kind of were walking through that day or that night, I guess.
Yeah.
But I did really appreciate all the critique and all that stuff that you were giving me that day. Yeah. And it was really interesting because for me, I'm a really reserved person as far as like the people that I meet.
Yeah.
I'm really reserved. Like I do talk to people, but I don't connect with people that often as far as like person to person. But because I knew that you understood what you were talking about from the beginning, and I wanted to actually know what you were like, how to do the stuff that you were doing.
That's the only reason you connected.
I think so.
Not because I'm cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, it was. I'm pretty sure it was like definitely personality towards like the conversations that we were having.
Yeah.
But as far as like the friendship that we developed, it did. I could honestly say it did come from that day, because it was like the honesty that you gave me, and then I guess because I was basically being open as far as like, here's my beginner pictures. Please tell me everything that's wrong, and don't be afraid. And I think because you understood that I wanted that critique and I was okay with the critiques, you were pretty cool with as far as like, okay, he actually wants to learn, rather than I do get messages from other photographers that technically want to do the same thing like what you did for me, but it's almost like I'll look at their photos and it's almost like a cell phone picture, you know, like there's nothing to critique because they haven't done anything for me to like actually establish something like, okay, what did you shoot it on your cell phone? It looks like a cell phone picture. There's nothing, no dynamic range, or what modifiers did you use, or you know, like I could honestly just say like, oh, just make sure you're in the shade if you're shooting outside, and you know, but that's not really critiquing, it's more of an advice. You mean like picking apart something? Yeah, really picking apart something as far as like what could I do to improve this picture, but then they're outside and there's no creativity to it, so there's nothing that I could really connect with that person as far as like if I am gonna advise you to use certain things, like, but I don't see anything that you used besides your camera, and that's it. Like, well, and the mediocre photos I think are much harder to critique, you know, because it's kind of just, it's, you know, it's a photo, and then a good photo is easy to critique because you could see the mistakes, because the mistakes stick out so much better, you know, or so much more. It's like, say you got like a landscape photo or something like that, and if it's just a flat, boring landscape photo taken at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, then that's what it is, you know. But if it's a sunset photo and you have the sunset over on the right side and it's not rule of thirds, that stuff sticks out. Yeah. Did I just go off on a tangent? What were we talking about? You were talking about actually critiquing something that's actually thoughtful as far as like the actual photo. Well, that's probably why you were having a tough time critiquing, you know, other people's photos if they were just,
pretty plain Jane.
Yeah. And especially because I was thinking that I was going to go into the wedding photography as well. But it just didn't really happen that way. It just, I still do it. It didn't go in as deep, I guess, as far as like the workflow that I do get from the real estate stuff or the marketing stuff. So I know back then I would get messages from photographers that were into the photography as far as like the wedding stuff, and they were asking me to critique their wedding photography. Yeah. But it's the same basic stuff. It was, like it's hard to critique stuff that I just basically need to sit there and shadow them rather than just critique that one picture.
Right. The actual process of making it.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of the actual image.
Yeah, because I could definitely critique it as far as like editing and as far as like, hey, and like bring down your highlights a little bit because they're blown out and you want to see the detail of the dress or, stuff like that. I could definitely give advice, but that I feel like that's not really critiquing as far as like the moment of the actual photo. Yeah. Like why
Well, it's not as important, I don't think, because then it's basically your photo. Anybody could throw some filters on it in Lightroom and it would be a different photo. So I think the process of it is much more, valuable to know about, like easier. It makes it easier in post. You know?
And as far as like where your like background is, as far as like how you started on photography, like I know you kind of spoken to, like we had a conversation about, like I asked you like what was it that got you into photography or actually touching the camera? And I remember you were saying about like your friend.
Yeah, Jim Kelso.
Yeah. So if you could just kind of like briefly.
Yeah, if you're watching, Jim, what's up?
If you kind of like just briefly just kind of like go through that, because I'm pretty sure people are interested in like
Sure. How I started. Basically I was, I skated most of my younger life. So I was hanging out with the crowd and they needed photos and video, of course. And my buddy Jim Kelso, he was always basically doing that. And he was getting rid of his old regular Rebel camera, not the TI or any of that crap. And
do you remember the megapixels?
It was 6. It was 6 megapixels, which was cool at the time. Yeah. I think I had a digital camera. My first digital camera had 1 megapixel. But I mean, it looked fine to me at the time. But so he was selling that, and I was like, hey, let me buy that from you. And I bought a manual fisheye lens. I don't remember the brand, but it worked, And he basically gave me the fundamentals. He gave me my foundation, and after that it was just nonstop, photos. I just fell in love with it, which made it easier to learn. Yeah, definitely. And just constantly shot and that's basically how I started. Yeah, but I mean, there was really no money in it.
Yeah,
you get pot and beer, but that's not going to pay your bills. So when I finally did grow up a little, then that's when I got into. Actually, I did sports photography, racing photography for Brian for over 10 years, and from while I was doing that's when I went into weddings, and then I've done weddings for about 8 years. And that's basically where I came from, was skateboarding photography.
Yeah, but what was it that actually like got your attention?
It?
Yeah, like what was it? Like what was the moment?
Well, to be honest, I remember, and I just looked at the photo. It was on my wife. I was looking at my buddy Chris Barber's profile on Facebook. He just hit me up yesterday, like out of nowhere. It was crazy. And one of the photos in there was my first off-camera flash photo. And it was just like, wow. And it looked so cool. It still looks cool. Yeah. There's stuff wrong with it. Yeah. But, I was like, damn, that's awesome. So, and I think it was once I started doing that, because, I'm completely obsessed with light and off-camera flash. And as soon as I saw what it could do, that was it. It was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, is just make things look crazy awesome, because you could do some amazing stuff with light, So I think that's what sparked it. And it was cool.
So was it the process of actually learning the off-camera flash that really got you in deep?
I mean, not learning it. I mean,
I guess. Actually seeing what you like actually like for the first time when you did the off-camera flash,
Yeah.
and then you saw the after product,
Right.
was that like your moment?
That was my moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you asked me that question because, like I said, I just looked at that photo yesterday, and it was like in my, my head, I was like, that was the first time. It was a Sigma flash, and it was high-speed sync.
Okay.
FP, I think Sigma calls it.
Yeah, I remember.
And yeah, it's just so cool, man. Like
What was it of?
it was skateboarding. He
Oh,
was
okay.
doing a nose pick over
Oh,
on
okay, gotcha.
at the K gutters. I forgot what it was called, but
Okay.
but yeah, it was cool. Very
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's always interesting to actually get to know like someone's background as far as like where their actual spark came from.
Yeah,
Because everybody has a different story as far as like
right.
why and when and
Yeah,
like,
that's a cool question, man.
yeah.
I like
Because
that.
I know some people like fall into the idea like it's like a romantic story as far as like an artist. Like they have this perspective in their head
Yeah.
that it's just a romantic and it's all highlights for us, like we just create these nice things, but they don't see the like the beginning stuff where you're actually learning to actually use your camera and the functions of the camera, and then your creativity kind of grows from that, and then of course we're dealing with clients that they don't understand that aspect either.
Yeah.
Where you're then now dealing with money, and then we're having to become a business,
Right.
which we're not a business because our mind doesn't work that way, but then we have to be kind of adapt our brains to that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to like actually hear that stuff and actually like so people could hear it too, and then basically like spark someone else's like like creativity, like oh yeah,
Right. Yeah.
that's how it happened for him. But then I also want them to understand that it's a lot of work to actually get to the point where you're at when you're
Right.
photography.
Right.
And then of course,
Yeah, I mean, I was shooting for like 2 years before I had that spark, or
Yeah.
maybe like a year, something. And it was just like, oh, these guys need photos. I mean, there was passion, but I mean, it was just like I certainly didn't think I was going to be doing it for a living.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that spark, that's a unique question. I like
Yeah.
that.
And do you actually advise other photographers or even just in general, just creators, not to think about the money when they're first starting?
No, think about money.
From the beginning?
That's extremely important.
So do you like recommend them to like think about that when they're first starting what they're doing?
Well, it's tough. I mean, because without the money, they wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So it is part of the equation. You
Yeah.
know, it's not all about the money, of course not. But they have to consider what they're going into. Is it going to be able to pay enough for me to continue shooting?
Yeah.
That's basically the number one question. And so, what was the second part of the question?
As far as like the creativity stuff for creators, like is there just the money aspect when they're first starting?
When they're first starting?
Yeah.
No. I think they have to find something that they enjoy doing, and
Yeah, because I know when I first started playing music, and this was when I was like, I started playing music when I was 11. I started with the trumpet, but I didn't fall in love with the trumpet.
Right.
I knew I liked music,
Yeah.
but I didn't love music yet. Like, I didn't even listen to music at the point. Like, I wasn't on the radio or getting CDs or cassettes at the time, whatever.
Yeah.
There wasn't an enjoyment, for me to actually say, like, oh, this is this band or this is that band. But I remember when I first started playing the guitar, which I was 15 at the time, I basically fell in love with music. And it was almost like you fall in love with something, but you don't think about, like we're talking about.
So I'm still trying to get this question. Wait, so you're asking, how did they get to that spark?
No.
Is that what you're asking?
No. I'm asking you, giving advice to a creator that is wanting to start something as far as like either drawing, painting, any kind of instrument, or like photography, videography. Is it important for them to actually start to think about the money aspect
I gotcha.
in the beginning? Or is it something that they should
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Not at the beginning.
Yeah.
Nobody should think about the money at the beginning. I mean, most people that do that, they burn out quick.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I I wanted to hear from you. You know,
Okay.
like,
Well, I wasn't getting the question.
It's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely don't think about the money.
Yeah, because I do see a lot of, like, I spoke to Shannon on the other podcast about hobbyists, as far as like now that cameras are so accessible, as far as like, you know, if they're pretty cheap, you know, back then they were really expensive, and you know, everything as far as like social media, they could post, and you could take like 1,000 pictures and you'll have this really nice picture.
Yeah.
And then the expectations from that picture from everybody, they didn't see those other photos that they took that they were pretty crappy.
Yeah.
But their expectations from certain photographers or hobbyists is the money aspect.
Right.
They're really pushing the business side from the beginning. And it's one of those things that I like to hear from other creators that started without thinking about the money.
Yeah.
That you're of course we're growing up and getting older. We have bills and all this other stuff. So now we have to actually think about the income.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, do you think it's important to actually start thinking about?
No, I think that just muddies the water. You know, it's like, why think about that when, you know, I mean, I could see if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor, you know, of course think about the money quickly. But when it comes to that, I think to have fun with it, you know, I think you'll grow much, you know, healthier, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't think about the money right away. You know, don't make it, you're going to be a professional photographer. You're going to make thousands of dollars. You know, you're going to make these awesome ass photos.
Yeah.
You know, don't think of it that way. Just have fun with it. You got to have fun with it.
Yeah. And as far as equipment, do you think it's important to actually start off with a bunch of equipment, or do you just recommend just to start with one kit lens and, you know, the
Well, I wouldn't
camera?
buy a kit lens.
Or
No
some
way.
of these cameras just come with the kit lens
They
already.
come with it, but then they charge you $300 for it. So you're
Yeah.
basically paying $300 for something you could have got for $100 on
Yeah.
eBay, and you're just going to resell because kit lenses suck. But well, I understand if you can't afford, you know, a lens. So, you know, if it's just a kit lens you could get, then go for it. That's fine. But just, you know, people need to remember to spend more money on the lens than the camera, because cameras are really just
obsolete. They
yeah, it's all about the lens and light. But man, I keep getting sidetracked.
You're tired. It's the
tired.
heat.
It is the heat.
It's really
It's like
hot.
100 degrees out there.
It's really hot. We actually just came back from a real estate shoot right now.
Yeah.
And it was really hot. So just forgive Clinton for his sidetracking brain.
Sorry. Well, I go off on tangents. You know that.
It's
and
all
then
right.
I just lose myself.
It's all right. As far as like this whole idea for the podcast too, like I'm still overthinking as far as like what it's for, what it's intended for.
Yeah.
Like when I have conversations where, like I said, I'm not really like a open book type of person when it comes to certain people.
Yeah.
But the people that I've actually let into my life, I would definitely like other people to actually get to know, because you're a reserved person too, from what I've noticed. Like you talk when you're in front of people.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to actually like going out and socializing at this point in your life,
Yeah.
like I don't see you doing that. But that's one of those things, like, man, like I wish everybody got to know Clinton the way that I actually know Clinton.
Yeah.
Just
well,
because,
it is. I mean, this point of my life. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I got my 3-year-old and
Yeah, exactly.
a 15-year-old at home, and my wife. You know,
Yeah.
I got to give them attention.
Yeah, so I definitely understand like where
Yeah.
you're at in your life and stuff, but those are the things that I feel like it shouldn't be a block for people to get to know you. I think this is kind of like my excuse for this
Yeah.
podcast too, is so that I could actually introduce people that I've gotten to know
Right.
the way that I've gotten to know them. And then, like you said, you're getting sidetracked. Honestly, I don't care like if you're getting
Yeah.
sidetracked or not.
Cool.
That's the point of the podcast.
But I don't want
is-
to piss off a bunch of people and say, "Man, this guy's a." Can I cuss? I could cuss.
Yeah, you
right?
could do whatever you
Cool.
want.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so that's my idea is
Yeah.
just so that I could actually have conversations the way
Yeah.
that we have conversations.
Well, it's nice when
you
you
know?
asked me to do the interview. I was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
please."
Yeah.
Because you know, a lot of people, maybe because I don't go out all that
Yeah.
often, maybe they think I'm some kind of big asshole or something, you know. And I would like just to, you know, kind of explain myself, but I don't think people think I'm an asshole or anything.
Yeah, I don't think so. Every now and then, but not that often.
I could be, sure. But you
Every
know,
now and then.
not
I'll
too
ask
often.
Clint and say, hey, let's go out. And you're like, all right. And you never show up. It's like, all right.
I promise I try, and I have good intentions of going out. It's just
No,
you know.
I definitely understand that. I'm just joking around.
Yeah.
But those are the reasons for this like the idea.
Yeah.
Or I think like when I start something, I don't think about why I'm going to start. I just know I have to start it.
Right.
Like that was my initial thought. Like I need to do something else besides
doing true artiste.
Yeah, doing what we do.
Sounds just like an artist.
Let me reset this camera.
Yeah.
It's gonna say.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're doing it, and it's cool. You know, it's going to be interesting. I want to listen to the other people as well, because it's like all you see. You know, on Facebook, you see all the best of. You know, oh, that wasn't me. I promise it was the chair.
It was him.
But I mean, all you see is the good stuff. You know,
the highlighted points.
Right, and most of it's just photos anyway, so you can't really get to know their personalities. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then I feel like a lot of I don't know what it is at this point within the photography group that we are in right now. Mm-hmm. I do see the gathering, like we're really united. Yeah. But there are certain groups within the group that hang out or are really close. Yeah. And I recognize it, which I feel like I'm close with everybody. Mm-hmm. Like I honestly feel like every single person within that group, I get to hang out, but then there are certain times where I don't get to see you, or I don't get to see the other person, right, because you're not really associated with those certain little groups, right, as much as I am or as much as they are.
It's like lunchtime at high school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And those are the things that I kind of would want to like at least let them or let those other clients, that are out there get to know you, just talking, like communicating with me. Like right now, this is not scripted at all. We're not. Right. I'm not like right now when I'm asking you questions, those are just questions that are coming in my head. Like if we're driving to a wedding, right, exactly the same questions that I've been asking you the whole time. Like, how did you start? Blah blah blah. Like, just
that's
holding,
true.
Holding conversation.
You have asked me that in the car.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that I do want to like highlight when it comes down to the conversations that I do have in this podcast with other people. Yeah. Because I am going to have people that are like in higher end professions, I guess, that I've gotten to know, but those aren't the things that I want them to talk about only.
Right. You want the raw stuff, the good stuff.
Yeah, I really want them to actually like approach it as far as like, yeah, you're talking to me, but you're talking to everyone else, I guess. Right. Like as far as like if they've already gotten to know you already and they've gotten to know who you are and hung out with you one-on-one, but instead of you actually doing it physically, they can do it on their computer or headphones. Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like that's
a lazy way of socializing.
Yeah, the laziest stuff. I dig it. Yeah, but everyone's busy, like you're busy, everyone has their own schedule and agendas as far as like lifestyles. So I definitely understand like everyone has to respect everything, because I if it were up to me, we would be hanging out a lot more than we hang out now. Yeah. But
especially with all this crap going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's impossible.
Yeah. So. Yeah, exactly. And I know I hit you up like randomly before this whole thing happened. Like I would just ask you to just have lunch, just randomly. I'm like, hey,
we have lunch all the time.
Exactly.
I probably have lunch with you more than anybody. Yeah. Well, besides my family, outside of my family.
Yeah, but those are the things that I like doing. Like when it comes down to people that I meet, I actually like to become friends with them, not associates or not just an acquaintance. Right. Because I have millions of those. Like you get to meet somebody every other day. Just pumping gas in your car. You're like, sure. That's it. Like you're never going to see that person ever again. Yeah. And I feel like it's very important that if you do have a connection as far as like either creativity or some sort of vibe going on as far as like a friendship, you stay connected, because those are really important to actually have at least someone to talk to as far as like not what's going on at home, but at least like have a different way of like approaching stuff, from your creativity side, and then keep your mind away from what maybe be in the back of your head, like a negative thought or whatever. Right. So I feel like that's pretty important to actually understand and like actually have too. Yeah. But yeah. So as far as like when it comes down to the AV area, how long have you been out here?
Well, I moved out here when I was 4, and then I stayed here until I was, 18, 19. Moved to Colorado for a little bit. Came back after a year because I did not like that.
Colorado?
Not the town I was in. I was in Greeley, which was a farming town.
Was it cold?
It was okay. Colorado? I mean, there would be snow on the ground, but, it'd be like 80 degrees out. So it was fine. It wasn't freezing. But it was just not the greatest town. I saw online like it's like $500 apartment or something right next to the mall and in the town, and So I figured, yeah, why not? And then I got there and I realized very quickly, because on Sundays they would boil the blood away, I guess, and that would make the whole town just smell like rotten meat.
What?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, that's why you can't smell in these photos online that I looked at.
So you moved by yourself, or?
Me and my buddy Nolan.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we moved there for a little bit, and
What was the reason for it?
just for fun,
So
for
you
kicks.
just wanted to get out of the state?
Sure. When you're that age, we didn't have anything holding us here,
How old were you?
besides family. I was about 19,
Oh, okay.
so maybe 20.
20.
I don't know. I know I had my fake ID, so I wasn't 21. But yeah, it was just to get out, and we got out, and we experienced some fun stuff, and he went back, I don't know, after like 6 months or something.
Okay.
He couldn't handle it, and I couldn't handle it, but I tried my hardest to.
Yeah, what were you doing out there though?
I was working for AT&T customer service.
Dang.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
It was horrible.
Sounds fun.
I was doing 410, so it was 10 hours every day.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember I would accidentally answer my house phone, hey, this is Clinton Ermey. How can I help you? It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm glad I don't live out there anymore, or, work for AT&T anymore.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool town. I'm not dogging on Greeley, but
Were you out there for a year, you're saying?
just short of it.
Okay. And then you just ended up coming back?
Came back here.
And then...
And then now I'm it would be nice to move. I was thinking Texas is cool.
Yeah.
I love Texas. I spent like a good amount of time out there just for work. And, but, then I would have to reestablish all my clients and move my family, move everything inside our house.
I think the first time that I met you, you were already talking about wanting to move to Texas. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's just so many damn rules here in California.
Yeah.
Just
Property
restrictions.
taxes.
It seems like everybody gets so upset so fast.
Yeah.
And that's just so annoying because it's like the complete opposite of, I like to chill. I like to relax and not be on edge or constantly be looking for something to complain about.
Yeah. Well, the way that I see other states as far as like Texas and like Missouri or even Colorado or Arizona, they're pretty open as far as like, like the population isn't as crowded. Yeah. So there's not as much tension. I think that's what it is.
Maybe. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because in California, we're all...
Well, and I'm generalizing. I mean, it's maybe the majority of people, or maybe it's just what I see on YouTube. Who knows? They're just brainwashing me. I don't...
You need to
because
go
everybody
out.
that I meet seems pretty cool. At least, in the AV, everybody seems like way cool.
Yeah.
You start heading a little more towards LA and
you
a little
definitely
more
feel
uptight.
tension in LA.
Yeah, like, but I mean, I'm not saying that everybody in LA is a bunch of whiners.
No, but you definitely feel the tension as far as like the...
Sure.
How clustered everything is.
Oh, yeah,
Like when I go do a house out there, like for photos, I have to park sometimes a block away,
right?
To actually get to the house that I need to, shoot for photos. And it's just, I could see how that's annoying if you're living there on a daily basis.
That would get pretty stressful.
And then of course, then you're having to deal with the traffic every day. And then you're having to deal with the, I don't know, like wherever you live at, it could be like bad situation as far as like, your neighbor.
Right.
Or,
well, so tensions are high.
Exactly. So I definitely, that's how I kind of view like when people talk about California, and then like I definitely understand the taxes, because taxes in California are pretty
crazy.
They're pretty crazy. So when people are actually saying like I'm going to Nevada or I'm going to Texas or I'm going somewhere else, it's usually because of that.
Yeah. Well, and I was looking into that too, because I mean, they just raised taxes like last month again. I think we're at like almost 10% sales. Something just, it's crazy. And then you look at like anywhere else besides New York, and it's like 5 or 6. And I was looking into it. I was like, man, we got to get the heck out of here. And property tax is crazy too.
Property taxes are good.
And then I was like, well, let me look at the benefits of being a Californian, and there are actually some really awesome benefits. Some really cool ones that save you a ton of money. And so I was like, well, it kind of evens out then. Right, because. But
it just really depends on the work that you're doing as far as within each state. Like, are you going to get the same amount of work in Texas for real estate or weddings?
Well, the same amount of pay.
Exactly.
Someone in Texas probably give me like $50 to shoot a house.
I honestly, I've never done anything out of state when it comes to real estate, so I don't know what the margins are.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, I'm barely getting to know what our margins are right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is my second year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, you know, like now I'm actually getting to know like, oh, maybe we should go a little higher, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think with our real estate photography, I think we are priced low, and I'm not just trying to sell everybody.
Yeah.
but I mean, we are, you know, considered, you know, the majority of people in our market.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like because of the market out here in the AV, it's a little like the percentage, I guess, isn't divided as well with the realtors and the client.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've noticed too. I always ask the realtor, I'm like, what's your percentage, if you don't mind me asking? And then they'll always say like 4%. And I'm like, that's why you're only getting the photos and not the video and not the Matterport or not the introductory walkthrough video, you know, for their own personal stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're basically paying out of pocket. And it's one of those things that for me, I needed to understand how they worked, to understand why they're not getting certain packages that we offer.
Right.
And it's because of that, you know, like I get that certain realtors are already established.
Yeah.
But even sometimes the established realtor is still, you know, the one that's wanting the cheaper package.
Of course, yeah.
Because they do want to save the money.
Save some money.
But what I've also noticed also from the newer incoming realtors, like the younger guys or younger gals that are coming up, they're actually more willing to actually get everything, you know, like.
And it's working for them.
Yeah,
too.
and it's a lot quicker for them because they actually see the benefit, because they actually know how to utilize it too.
Sure.
Because the older generation, they don't know how to promote it.
Yeah.
You know, so I do see the change as far as like when it comes to price points, and I am noticing that we are pricing our stuff a little lower than what we should. But of course, we're a newer company, and if you guys don't know this, me and Clinton are in the same company as far as like real estate.
Yeah, they're probably like, what the heck?
Yeah, what are they talking about? So to just give a brief story as far as like the whole company. Clinton's been doing real estate for 8 years.
No, not that long. Probably 5 or 6.
Yeah. So around that time, I started real estate. But I'm gonna say 2 years. Around the time that I met you, like maybe 2-3 months after that, I got into the real estate photography. Like I remember that day that I met you. I don't think the conversation ever came up when it came down to the photography, when it came to the real estate stuff.
Yeah, never.
Like it wasn't even in my head to even like pursue. Like it just came up randomly for me. And that's something that people like, they ask me like, how did you start? And I always say it happened. You know, someone approached me, and like I said, I got lucky. They approached me first. They asked me if I've ever done real estate. I said no. And I basically said I could give it a shot, but I was really honest. I'm like, I know how to do photography. Yeah. I know real estate photography is a specific type of photography that you have to learn. And he said, okay, I'll give you a shot. I basically gave him a big discount as far as like the price point. Yeah. It was really low, and I over delivered as far as like the pictures. Yeah. But I know he was my first complaint as far as like for real estate. Really? He was the most critical as far as like because it was like in the west side, so Quartz Hill area, so a nice house, 2-story house. And previously there was I don't know if I want to mention any names as far as like, there's a higher end real estate guy out here, and I think you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. So he had a house right next door to the house that I was shooting as far as like for the photos, but that house was basically upgraded. So it was the same structured house, the same flooring, but it didn't have carpet. You know, the furniture was nicer. There was a pool in the back. Yeah. So an upgraded house is always going to look nicer, you know, no matter what. Right. So his photographer actually had experience as far as like actually how to shoot a house, and it was my first time doing real estate. So of course my pictures didn't look like that. Right. And of course the realtor,
he's comparing them.
Yeah, he definitely compared everything. And like I said, I over delivered. Like instead of giving like, I think our max that we did deliver right now is around 30 to 40. If it's a bigger house, we will do 40 photos, but it has to be a big house.
Yeah.
But back then it was like a 2-story house. I did like 60 photos. Like
Right.
I basically gave him every corner of that house.
Yeah.
And because I knew that he was giving me the opportunity to actually try to do it, but it was that, that complaint that I still have.
What did he complain about?
Everything. Like
it
was
just didn't look like the
it
other
was
guys.
because he was comparing those photos to my photos,
Right.
knowing that I was a beginner. So
Well, that's good though.
yeah, because
Constructive
from the
criticism.
beginning, I learned right away. Like you have to learn everything. Like I never want to feel that type of criticism again.
Right. You didn't hop on YouTube and check out.
I did, but it was like overnight. It was like he came. He asked me one day, and I shot it the next day.
Right.
So it wasn't like I had a week or a couple of days to actually understand what it was. And I just remember that, and like I said, I got lucky to the point, even though he critiqued it to the point where I'm like, oh, he's never going to use me again.
Yeah.
He actually recommended me to other realtors. So I was really surprised that he did that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So from that experience, knowing that he didn't like the photos, and knowing that he was even willing to give me the chance to like recommend me to other realtors, that's where I really like started saying like, okay, people are giving you money. It's not a lot of money, but they're giving you money.
Yeah.
Give them what they actually are paying you for.
Of course.
So in my head, that's where my learning process like really came in, popped in. Like you have to learn everything, and of course that's how I progressed as far as like the real estate stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a brief, history of how I started.
Yeah.
But now we teamed up as far as like real estate photographers, videographers out in the AV.
That's right.
Just because we see the benefits as far as like being in a group rather than being individuals.
Sure. I mean, we could battle each other all day long.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're not going to. It's not
Exactly.
going to do anybody good.
Exactly. We're just going to basically like, I don't know.
Well, if we team up and then take the whole AV, then we could just do that.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
why not?
yeah. So that's kind of the brief history as far as like how I started, and of course how the InView, that's the company's name, InView Media.
InViewMedia.com.
Yeah. So if any realtors out there want to,
And don't forget that hyphen. A lot of people forget that hyphen. InView-media.com.
isn't that social media for the social media, or is that the website?
That's the website too.
Really?
And my email. Yeah. One guy was like, dude, I'm emailing you. It's not going through. I'm like, are you forgetting the hyphen? And that's happened like 5 times.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's fine though. That's what separates us from everybody else. We have a hyphen in our email or website.
So, but yeah, that's technically what we're doing now as far as like as a team. You still do your wedding stuff. And
I might consider weddings. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and I have I'm in the same boat as you, like for a while too. Like I first started not wanting to do quinceañeras. For me, they don't.
See, I liked
they don't do
quinceañeras.
anything for me as far as like the creativity stuff. Like
They are
maybe because I
very
grew up with them. Like I grew up going to quinceañeras. It's
commonplace for
like
you.
so I like it's just like, oh, okay, it's just 15-year-old girl just turned 15. Yay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
give her presents. So for me, there's like, okay, congratulations, you woke up and turned 15.
Right.
So for me, the creativity just never settled.
The inspiration.
Yeah, there is no inspiration as I'm wanting to do it. And I have done quinceañeras, but like I said, it's not for me.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that I knew that I didn't want to do. The second thing was babies. I did try out babies too. Like when you first start, you want to try it. You at least want to try it to see, one, if you like it, and two, if you're good at it.
Right.
And then kind of like choose your path after that. And like now it's got kind of like I'm on the same boat when it comes to the wedding stuff too, like where you're at.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Well, I think it became more of chasing the client, making the client happy than it was about the photography with me, especially with all these new people out, charging $300, $400, $500 for a wedding, just because they don't have to pay bills with that money. I guess it's more of a hobby for them, but they don't understand, it's kind of hurting the business, especially when there's thousands and thousands of new photographers every day doing that. Is driving the price down. So the price, I know I had to adjust a few times just to stay relevant in the market. And then now it's gotten to a point where I love real estate. You know, it's a completely different beast, which is weird that I do both. But, you know, I figured, well, I'm just going to spend all my time in real estate for at least this year. And that's, it turned into chasing the client too much, you know, about advertisement. I don't like spending a shit ton of time on Facebook or Instagram putting hashtags on my crap. I don't know any of that stuff, you know, and I don't want to spend an hour doing it. You know, with real estate, it's like a lot of these, you know, agents are pretty old school, and it's, you know, basic. Here's my price. This is what you're going to get. And it's cut and dry. Boom. You going to hire me or not? You know? And with weddings, it's completely different. You got, you know, it's, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because there's a ton of people out there that love doing all that stuff. But for me, it was just a little too stressful.
As far as like the marketing side.
Marketing. Yeah. It all became marketing. That's
so it has nothing to do actually with.
I love shooting weddings.
Okay,
I absolutely love shooting weddings. You've heard me say this a million times. You know, it's like extremely exciting, and, you know, and you get some pure raw emotions that you just can't get with like a model, you know, like real stuff. You know, I want to photograph that. That's freaking awesome. Yeah. But as for what is making me take a break from it, I'll just call it taking a break. Yeah. Is definitely just trying to get the clients. It turned too much business. You know, when you asked earlier about people should be focused on the money, to a certain point. And with the weddings, it became all about the money. You know, it's like, well, am I going to even break even if I do a wedding for this much? You know, there's so much stuff that you have to pay for that nobody talks about, you know, at least
second photographer,
insurance, websites, emails, even, you know, storage.
Yeah, definitely storage.
You know, and then all the time it takes to edit those things. You know, it's just, and then at the end of the day, you got $100. What, you know? I just can't do it. Yeah. So I mean, I suppose if I wanted to just not edit or not get insurance, or you know, I mean, there's ways. Sure, I could do it, but then I wouldn't be happy with the end product. You know, everything's got to be, you know, legit, like straight up.
Yeah, the last wedding that we did, I enjoyed just because of the setup that they had in the location. I
loved that last wedding.
It was really
awesome.
Yeah. And then two weddings prior to that, that was like the worst wedding that I've ever gone to. Not because of it wasn't the place, it was the energy. You know?
The energy.
It was just like, there are certain people there that I just like, it drained me for a couple of days, and I never felt that in my entire life. Right. I was like, what is going on?
No, I hear you, man.
Like, I felt tired. I even told you that I got confused on certain things. Like,
well, I could tell you were off too.
I was so confused. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I was like a Twilight Zone. I'm like, it just, and that, for me, those are kind of my excuses as far as like not wanting to do weddings.
Right.
And also just because I've already done it. And I feel like I feel like people that enjoy weddings actually love doing it, you know, because they love that environment, you know, that celebration. For me, like I'm introverted, so I could be by myself and I'm happy, right? You know, and then there's extroverts that need people's energy. Yeah. Like, I like being around people. I just don't like being around crowds. You know, even when I was in a band, we'd play at the Whiskey, and I was not in the crowd until we played on stage. Right. You know, because I like that energy, but I don't like the elbow to elbow touching, you know, like I don't want to be in a crowd. And I feel like that's what a wedding is sometimes, you know, like you have to be a ninja and you're moving around to get the documentary photography. Sure. And that kind of gets tiring for an introvert, you know, like you get overwhelmed. And for an extrovert, like they're kind of like wanting that energy.
That's their space.
Yeah, that's definitely their space. But that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to weddings.
I kind of noticed that when I second shot for you. That one that was local in AV, I forgot where.
It was in Lancaster.
But I kind of noticed that you didn't really want to get in the whole mix, I guess, is the way to explain it. Yeah, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
I'm usually like that. I just force myself to do.
Yeah,
You know.
no, I definitely force myself too. Like
Right.
this whole idea of doing the podcast, I'm forcing myself to be in front of the camera.
Right.
Like nothing that I've done has been because it's come easy.
Yeah.
You know, like you ask me why do I run so much? Because I don't want to get fat. You know, it's simple. Like I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
Like it's easier not to go running or not to go exercise, you know, than actually go exercise.
Right.
So it's the same concept. When I'm creating something, like I want to create it, but then again, we have that other part that's saying, no, just watch TV
Right.
or just chill and do nothing, be on your phone. And it's just like forcing yourself. It's like I'm an introvert putting myself in extroverted place
Mm-hmm.
and then basically making myself uncomfortable, but then realizing that I'm good at certain things when I'm in those situations and then learning from those situations too. But that's kind of where I'm at too, as far as like in my life, like I understand certain things that I am good at.
Yeah.
And then I'm also not good at certain things because of certain things like that, you know, because I get tired. You know, if I'm around too many people, like I get really quiet or I get shut off. And I know I can't do that if you're working. So, you know, it's just give and take. But you just like learn what you know, and then...
Well, even with me, like with weddings, you know, you've seen me do it a million times. It's right when we're about to knock on that door where the bride's getting married. I take that deep breath and I'm like, wait, we need like 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds. And then, you know, I put on that fucking... I'm the funnest guy. You want to be around me. You want to, you know, let your guard down around me. You know, you got to get into that mindset. And that's what it was. And that's why I did that.
And I think you're a lot better at it than I am, as far as like when you're like putting that front, you know, for certain people.
We got to just change.
Yeah.
You transform into it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then remember, you know, after every wedding, I'll almost always, as soon as all our gear's packed, I'll just scream in the car, you know, like, just craziness in the car just for like a second. Just get that shit out. You know, because it's just it's like you're bottling it up, you know, exactly. and then you just got to let it all out.
Yeah, because you're putting in situations
Poor
where
Andrea, she should know exactly what I'm talking about.
You're definitely put in situations where like it becomes stressful. Like it's very anxiety driven as far as like the wedding stuff. Because you're giving a schedule, but every wedding that we've done or every wedding that I've done,
they never follow that.
It's never schedule. Within that schedule, you know.
Never.
So you have to learn how to adapt and adjust, and it's like
that's what made it fun, though. I mean, that was awesome. I don't know. That's cool as hell. Sometimes.
Yeah, but as far as like that face that you put in front of people, like when you're walking in for the first time, they're getting to meet you.
Well, you got to be chill, because if you're not chill, you're gonna freak everybody else out. You know, because everybody else is nervous.
And I feel like I could definitely do that, but to a certain extent. You know, like there are certain types of people that are within the party that really just like rub me the wrong way, and I'm like just like grinding my teeth.
Right.
And I feel like you're a lot better like
at biting my tongue. Yeah,
like you're a lot better at knowing how to address those situations or address those people. Where I'm basically like, and I think I've noticed it more as a second shooter than a first shooter. As far as like that,
like you take it too personal?
No, because I see it. You know, like I'm in the background seeing what they're doing, but they're doing it to you. Yeah. And I see it why they're doing it, and then I'm like, you know, like then because when you're in front of them, you know, like you like you're just the mindset is different. I don't know how.
Talking a lot of shit behind my back.
I don't know what it is.
What are they doing back there?
Do you remember that? I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but as far as like I think it was the second wedding that we did, the second to the last wedding that we did. Okay. It was in San Diego. Do you remember that one? Yeah. Do you remember the bride's mother?
Yes.
Do you remember how she was acting?
Yeah.
And do you remember that?
But I mean, that's not uncommon. That's very common.
Exactly. But those are certain things that you know that you're gonna have. But
she wasn't like cussing or anything.
Yeah, she was just very opinionated.
Yeah, she was demanding, and she was paying for it, so she has every right to be.
Yeah, exactly. But still, like the way that she was approaching everything, it was just very entitled, and she was just on a pedestal, and
Well,
the photographers.
What would you have done in my situation if you can't handle it?
I would have gone to the bride. I honestly, I would have gone to the bride.
And then talk to her about it?
And then talk to the bride. Or technically not gone to the bride, because that's the worst thing that you could do to a bride is like get her more stressed out, or
maid of honor.
Either go to the bride or go to one of the groomsmen or go to one of the family members as far as like who's there, and then really address it. And then sometimes I've never done it before. I've never like gone to a bride and complained about anything because I've never had that situation personally. But if there are certain people that I gravitate to, and it's usually like women, like for whatever reason, I feel really comfortable with women.
Ladies' man.
And talking, and they talk, they feel comfortable around me. So I really I feel comfortable saying whatever I want to them.
Right.
And let's say if it would have been my wedding and that bride was comfortable with me and we were talking back and forth, having a good conversation, I would have thought to have said something, because saying something to like a bridesmaid, unless it was the sister, then I could feel like then she has some sort of authority to say something, but if it's a best friend, you know what is the best friend going to do?
Right.
She's just going to shrug her shoulders like, oh, sorry, there's nothing that I could do. Yeah. But there's certain situations like that I'm like, I still think about, I'm like, man, like, it was just too much. Like for me, it was just like
it was a lot, but what can you do?
Yeah. But those are the things that I feel like you're a lot better at though than I am. But maybe because you've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and that you've been in those situations a lot better, so you know how to adapt to the actual situation when they come up.
Well, I mean, to get upset about it or take it personal, it really helps nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So what's the point of doing that?
Which
it's
is
just a waste of energy.
Which is a very logical
camera click.
Let me actually
sorry.
Restart this.
I thought you were gonna.
All right, just restart
the camera.
What were we talking about? I already forgot.
Yeah, we were talking about how you really shouldn't take it personal because it benefits nobody.
Yeah. I think it doesn't benefit anybody and doesn't benefit the situation as far as like in the moment.
Right.
Like actually, because I feel like I would get distracted to the point where my focus wouldn't be on the technical side anymore. As far as like the lighting, the putting everything together.
Yeah.
It kind of like cloud everything. And I think that's what happens to me a lot if I get into those situations. But like I said, it's only happened seeing you go through it.
Well, that shit happens to me all the time.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I'm so used to shooting and putting my, I'm very technical. It's all like boom, immediate. So I could sit there and be pissed about that and still get my job done,
Yeah.
But that just comes with time.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever gone a bad wedding per se personally. They've all been pretty chill and good. So I've been pretty lucky.
How many weddings have you shot? Like a bunch?
A good dozen, I'm gonna say.
Dozen?
Yeah.
That's a good amount.
Yeah, but I was never, like I said, it was more of a. I think I was recommended more as far as like how I started. Like everything that I've done, it has been through recommendations, like through past friends, or the bride knew somebody that knows me, and then that kind of stuff. It for me was like you said, you were doing more of the marketing.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like
a ton of money for marketing.
Yeah, and I was kind of just going off of like, oh, I know that
awesome
guy.
The way that everybody strives for.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I know that guy, so yeah, he must be good.
Organic.
Even though they didn't see any of my photos or videos yet.
Yeah.
But like I said, I take it personally as far as like if someone doesn't like my stuff, and that's always in the back of my head. Like I do want to deliver something like that I would want to watch. You know?
Right.
Or that I would want to present to my friends on social media, or to, someone that's out of the country that didn't get to go to the wedding,
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I view my work, as far as like delivery has to be good. But like I said, it was all recommendations as far as like.
That's cool.
Even now, I think I've never done any of the marketing that you've done as far as like. Yeah. The Google stuff, or
instead of having to learn all the crap on Facebook or whatever, I could pay Google for AdWords.
And I think we have had conversations about our generation, as far as like, because you're not much older than I am. You're maybe like what, 5, 6?
How old are you? I'm 37.
32. So 6 years old again.
Oh.
Hold on. All right. Sorry about that. The power went out for whatever reason.
Yes.
So that was weird.
The awesomeness of the podcast
Yeah,
cut the power.
We have a ghost in here, freaking telling us shut up. What was it? I don't remember.
We were talking about
marketing online. I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like doing online marketing or
how you got yours organically.
Yeah.
Through word of mouth, and then
yeah,
I
it was
paid
just
for
through
much
word of
money.
mouth.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever doing any. I've done ad stuff like campaign, but very rarely that I'll pay like $10.
Yeah. Well, you probably have a ton of friends or something. Because a lot of the times you'll always hear the story where a photographer, they'll start and they have a ton of work because all their friends are using them.
Yeah.
And then once they run out of friends, they realize real quick that it's kind of hard to get clients, you know?
Yeah. And I think the other thing, it's just a theory. There's no like actual
studies done.
Yeah, there's nothing Harvard. As far as like how I got my recommendations or whatever. But because of my background and also because of like growing up in the AV area and then being in the band and then getting to know everyone around this area and then teaching, that kind of gave me a heads up as far as like, you know, the students and then the parents and then those parents know other parents. Right. And then,
well, the more people you know, the more clients.
I think that's what it could have been as far as like how I've gotten started, because I can't really say that I was like,
well, and good. Don't cut yourself short.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I
good quality photos.
I wasn't.
People remember that shit.
Yeah, like,
they'll tell their friends.
Yeah,
too.
like I wasn't that great. Like I could honestly say, like looking back when I first started, like my first couple weddings, they were okay.
Right.
They were like focused. You know, like they weren't blurry.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
So, but I can't say like, oh yeah, this was almost amazing. Wedding photographer out. Right. You know, like. It's just like
people see what they want to see.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I remember, you know, before I was a wedding photographer, I got married, and I remember in my head I was like, man, these photos are freaking awesome, like crazy good. And I was like, you know, surprised how cheap it was and all that. And then I looked back, you know, just a couple years ago. I was like, let me see how good it actually was. You know, now that I kind of know things, and it wasn't. Like, it was like, okay, that's exactly priced right. Yeah. You know, they weren't extravagant like I thought, you know, so people see really what they want to see. Yeah. You know, especially if you hype it up. Yeah. But I'm sure your stuff couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah. But I can't really say
early stuff.
Yeah. I couldn't really say that it was something that I did amazing and then it just blew up. I honestly feel like it was because I've gotten to know so many people from the AV area, you know, from playing music and you know, just the recommendations and like, oh yeah, that photographer, he's always taking his camera, he must do weddings, you know. Like I was like, what?
Well, it seems like every photographer should do weddings.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
It's like, oh, he has a camera, he must be able to shoot a wedding. Sure. So yeah, that's kind of where I started. But as of right now, like I feel like even now I don't do a lot of marketing or self-marketing. Mm-hmm. Like I
know I was kind of getting on your ass for that the other day.
Yeah, like I don't like
we need to. You know.
I don't do a lot of like my profile. Yeah, I haven't put in.
Well, see, you're awesome with the like algorithms of social media and all that. You know exactly what to post and when to post it and how to post it. So I mean, technically, you're just kicking ass anyways without paying for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but I do feel like both of us would have to want to stay on top of that stuff if we want to stay.
Well, I mean, you got to pay to play.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And that it's just a job within itself. Like I had Shannon, that's what he does for a living. He does marketing for companies and, you know, like small businesses, and it's a lot of work, you know, like a lot of people, they relate us to that, you know, like, oh, it's all one bundle, you know, that everybody, if he's a creator, he knows how to do and understand the algorithms.
And he also knows graphic design.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But as far as like everything goes, like I feel like we've kind of gotten the foundation as far as like who you are, but there's one thing that I don't know if I want, like you would have wanted me to brought up.
That's okay.
Yeah, like
I'm open.
I want people to actually know who your dad was as far as like within the AV. And the only reason I didn't bring it up in the beginning was because I didn't want that to be the highlighted point with who you are, because I know for a fact that's not, you know, he is who he was. I'm assuming because, you know, he passed away last year. Was it last year?
A couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when I first met you, it was an association for me to actually getting to know you. Like, oh, Clinton's dad, you know, is this. You know, it was more of just like the photography side, and then your personality side came about. You know, like where we connected and we became friends.
I'm not embarrassed about it. It's fine.
Yeah, but as far as like everybody that doesn't know you, like I'm pretty sure they
Lee Ermey.
Yeah,
is my old man.
Yeah,
and very proud of him.
Yeah,
yeah.
And if you could just kind of give like a like just a little
background. Like who he is.
Who he is,
how
it was,
like
who he, like how it was growing up with
how
it
was. Oh, you really want to get into
like just,
it?
just small little like doesn't have to be everything. You know?
Totally cool.
Because I never got to meet him like at all, like in person. Like I met you 3 years ago. I'm gonna say 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
Something like that.
Yeah, and then we really didn't really hang out until we did a first wedding, which was a year after. Within the year, you asked me to shoot for you as a second shooter.
Yeah.
Then we really became friends as far as like because you got to actually know my person as far as like my work ethic and also like the person that conversation wise. So yeah. But like I said, I never got to meet him, so yeah.
Well, he's awesome. He was a totally awesome guy. A sweetheart. But he was stern as hell. You know, a lot of people. Oh, he's like a teddy bear, but come on, man.
So was he exactly what?
Oh well, first off, he's the guy from Full Metal Jacket, the drill instructor. And if you haven't seen that, then the drill instructor in Toy Story, certainly. Probably seen that.
Horror stories like Texas
Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. You know, you get the gist. But he was an actor.
Yeah.
But growing up with him was great. You know, he taught me a lot of good stuff. He taught me good ethics. Yeah. Really, he was on that. Yeah. You know. I couldn't imagine being raised by any other father at all.
Yeah, and I remember you had mentioned once that he was really like, as far as like, he actually, like, I'm not gonna, like, some parents are very restrictive when it comes to like their kids' creativity.
Right. No, he was always like, you know, if I got into,
like he always, I feel like he
was like, super encouraging.
Yeah.
You know, he was always on board. Do you want to do that? Then boom. Even with photography.
Yeah.
You know, which was strange. Like my mom, she didn't want me. She needed me to get a real job. You know, she always said that. She just told me that just a couple months ago, probably. You know,
I'm gonna call you right now. Get a real job.
No, but I mean, you know, she was looking after my well-being.
Was it like security reasons? Like as far as like when quote unquote like a real job is like something you'll get like every week,
W-2
you know, like,
taxes
exactly.
and you know you got a name badge or something. That's you know, which is probably just traditional for my mom. And of course she's just looking out for me and my family, make sure I have a secure paycheck, you know, and all that. But like, my dad, I mean, he was just go for it. You know, if I wanted to be like a freaking astronaut, he would be like, awesome, go for it. You know, you could do it. And which is cool, you know, because it really helped me. You know, I told him I wanted to be a photographer and I told him my plan, you know, and he was like, just, that's awesome. Do it. And then he went out and bought me a nice camera, you know, and it was great. Real.
Was it encouraging though to actually have somebody like that in your life to actually like really like give you that positive, like, I don't know what it is. 'Cause my parents are completely the opposite. They do encourage me on certain things, but they were never like, oh, you know, like.
Well, I mean, it's good to have the negative side of it, or not negative, but you know, the opposite side of it. Saying you can't do it, you know, because then you just want to prove them wrong. Yeah. You know, and he would do that too every once in a while. Yeah. Sure. It was a lot of, you know, if you're talking about like critiquing, he was very good at shooting your shit down. Yeah. Being like, hey, this sucks. You know, a lot of the times he's wrong about it. Yeah. You know, but he's my dad.
Was he the same thing with your skateboarding? Because I know you were into skateboarding as well.
He did not enjoy that at all.
He didn't like your skateboarding? It's
funny. My mom kind of liked that, though. Really? Or she bought me skateboards and stuff.
Was it because she wanted you outside of the house to be active, or what was it?
I don't know.
She's like, let him kind of spend out
his energy. It's just a skateboard. It's just a toy, you know? Okay. And didn't really think about me breaking my skull open or anything, you know? But my old man, he knew it was going to take a toll on my body. Yeah. You know, and you know, back then I played a lot of golf, as his golfing buddy. But then when I started skating more often, it was more like, sorry, Dad, I can't skate. I can't play golf. I gotta go skate. So he didn't really. I don't think he liked it mainly for that reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, like I said, I never got to know him in person.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. I love that guy so much.
Yeah,
he's my dad.
Yeah, definitely, of course.
And I think he did everything right when he was raising us.
Yeah.
Me and my sisters. Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Then he was hardcore, man, growing up.
Was he?
Sure.
Was he strict on like
chores
and all that stuff?
I think he might have believed in me a little too much.
Okay.
He was like, as an example, when I was 12 years old, he handed me a butcher knife and said, "We need to cut the tails off of all of our puppies." We had like 3 puppies. He gave me that and like some cornstarch. And he didn't even go out there with me. So there's a tree stump out there. Go ahead and do that.
What the heck?
And I was like, all right. And I took care of it, because there's no way I'm questioning that.
Freaking Clinton the Butcher.
Yeah, dressed the deer in my front yard a couple times when I was young, very young, pigs. He was, I had to feed the horses, and he was very strict on getting stuff done on a certain time. Mm-hmm. And there's no excuses. I don't miss that shit, or like not miss, but like I don't miss my time to feed the horses.
Okay.
And there's no excuse for it if I do.
Yeah.
I just get that shit done.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's lacking in a lot of these new kids growing up.
Yeah.
Even me, I could attest to it that, I'm really soft on my kids compared to that. So, maybe I need to stern up a little bit. Maybe everybody needs to be
Get a horse, make them feed them.
Well, just have rules.
Yeah.
You do that shit and life is good.
Yeah.
You don't do it, then life's going to be crap.
Yeah, like have structure in your life from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my parents were always pretty strict as far as like growing up. The whole make your bed before you leave anywhere, even till now, like that's the thing that I do. Like I have to make my bed. Yeah. And I'll go over to my friend's house and, their beds are always messy.
Right.
And I remember we had a game board, or it was like a board game, like with questionnaires. Uh-huh. And the question was, what do you do after you get off, you wake up or whatever? And then brush your teeth, or, like questions like that, or like have breakfast, and make my bed.
Yeah. And
then they were so confused, like, why do you make your bed? You're just going to sleep in it when you come back. I'm like, it's just something that's just been embedded in me as far as like structure,
That's good though.
You just you wake up and you make your bed from little like.
Well, I heard it like starts your day off like you accomplish something real quick, and
yeah, it could be that. It's just for me, it's just second nature. Like I have to have it, or if not, I feel like I get OCD. Like I'll see my bed when I'm leaving the door, and I'm like, I have to make this bed. Like it just doesn't look right, it looks messy. But
kind of like toilet lids being down.
Nah, I don't care about that stuff.
Really? No, I found myself doing that
when it comes down to the real estate stuff. Yeah, the toilet seats have to be down.
Well, I remember you asked me that like a month ago or something.
Yeah.
Hey, we're talking about like
the houses.
Before you take a photo of a bathroom, the toilet seat needs to be down. And Irvin was asking me, hey, do you ever walk by your house and see a toilet seat up and have to put it down? and I was like, no, I never did that. And then just a few weeks ago, I did that, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Why did I go out of my way to put the toilet seat down?
Yeah.
Not the seat, the lid, the toilet lid down."
Yeah.
But that's what I was doing.
I think it just becomes a custom.
Yeah.
Even now, like when we go to the houses, like the first thing that I ask now is not the lights; it's the refrigerator magnets.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's one of those things.
You have a thing about refrigerator.
Yeah, it's just because I feel like the kitchen is really important.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the pictures, and if there's a bunch of magnets, paper, pictures, like random stuff on top of it, I feel
on top of a $1,000 fridge.
Yeah, like I feel like it devalues the image, as far as like what it could look like with a clean fridge.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with the toilet seats, I'll see pictures online. I'm like, why didn't, or videos, the walkthrough videos from other videographers, and I'll see the toilet seat up. I'm like, why? Like you could have gone in there, put it down, and easy fix, like for whatever reason now it bugs me all the time when I see it, either from other photographers, videographers, or even like I said, when I think I did it too. Like it's becoming a habit at my house too. Like I'll walk around or I'll walk through the hallway and I'll pass the bathroom and I'll see the toilet seat
Yeah.
up, and I'm like, why is it up? It has to be down. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'm like you, like I'm getting out of my way, just putting it down.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really weird, but I think that's just customs that we're developing as real estate photographers.
Right.
But yeah, man. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you feel like you want to give out to the, I don't know, the social media or wherever the hell I feel like putting this up? Because I don't even know where I'm putting this up yet. Like, it's either going to be...
do all of it. YouTube and Facebook. And
yeah. I was thinking just putting it on my Facebook for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then maybe putting it on YouTube, but...
do a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That'd probably be cool.
Yeah. So
Why
we'll
not?
see. Like I said, I didn't think that far.
Yeah.
I don't think that's far.
Just got to do it.
Just do
Just
stuff.
start it.
Just
and
start
let
and
that
see
ball
where it goes.
start
Yeah,
rolling.
exactly. Yeah, and when it comes down to this stuff, like I honestly feel like I want to do other videos now, as far as like not podcasting, but the videos that I used to do before,
Right.
like I started working, like
You're talking about like
fun videos, like even if it's just like
little shorts.
Yeah, like little B-roll, like me walking vlogs, maybe. Like,
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah.
People like watching them.
yeah, but it's just one of those things like I haven't done in a while, and I've gotten used to not doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe this will encourage me to actually just do more stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you need any help, I'll.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Cool. Well, be sure to. We got to plug our website, right? Wouldn't
Yeah,
that
go
be
for
cool?
it. Like, yeah,
www. Nobody says that anymore, huh?
I don't even know.
Go to inviewmedia.com to book your session with us.
Yeah, if not, you guys could also look us up on Instagram. It's InviewMedia _ Is it?
No, it's
I
the
don't
dash. What's the dash
I
called?
don't even know anymore.
I said it earlier.
Hold on.
Hyphen.
Is it the hyphen?
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now.
Media.
Yeah, no, it's _. It's InviewMedia _ for Instagram.
Oh, for Instagram.
Yeah, for Instagram.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they won't let you do that.
Yeah. So on our Instagram, you could basically just check out some of the photos that we have. On our bio, you could basically click onto their website. And if you are a realtor and you're wanting us to shoot any of your listings, either via photo or video, you're more than welcome to actually just schedule it on the actual website. Our calendar's there. Click on Clinton's name or my name, click on the date, time, and then it sends a text to us, and then we could just confirm it.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. It's not pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, we're also doing Matterport too. So Matterport is the virtual tour.
Mm-hmm.
So
Super popular right now.
Yeah, super popular just because a lot of people aren't really wanting to go out as far as like to actually go. I don't know if they're doing open houses yet.
I think so on the first. They
Are they?
started.
Oh, okay. So just in case you want to actually send out the virtual tour to a client that's out of state, I do recommend having the Matterport for that kind of situation, just because they are basically going through the house.
Yeah.
You know.
It's got to be the right house, though.
Yeah.
For
However,
sure.
yeah. Well, it really depends on the circumstance too.
Yeah. Oh, true that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's definitely that as far as like our InView Media.
Yeah, our shameless plug.
Yeah.
But we got it. Look at all the stuff we had to set up just
very
for this
excited.
chat.
Very excited.
Yeah. But I don't know. Check it out.
Yeah.
And if you want me to shoot your wedding, go to CaliCreativePhotography.com.
Yeah, definitely.
maybe I'll
I
do it,
always
maybe I
recommend
won't.
Clint. Yeah. As far as the photography side, I would definitely see that you enjoy it a lot more than I do. I enjoy the videography side as far as like when it comes to the weddings. So
Yeah.
if you need a wedding videographer, I also do the photography side, but I enjoy the videography side.
Yeah.
Just-
He's a video master, so
Yeah, I'm okay.
he's awesome.
I'm not
awesome.
I wouldn't say that.
He's almost as good as I am with photos.
Oh, definitely. All right, you guys. Thank you again for whoever that's out there watching, hearing. Thank you. Whoever's not watching. Nah.
Yeah.
What are you
All
gonna
right. Peace, love.
Later.
Lates.